All right, everybody. Good to see all of you. And I know you can't see me because, I went and got to the dermatologist to get my stitches out for a skin cancer I had removed. And I asked about this other place, and they were like, oh, let's do a biopsy on it. And it was skin cancer. So now I have this big bandage on my chin. And I just thought it would be distracting. You don't have to look at that. You get to look at my slides instead. Let me pull those up. I hope everybody is doing great. Some of you have today off. It's Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday, celebrated here in the US. And So if you are on here watching the replay, which a lot of people tell me they do, let me know that because I have no way of knowing that you're watching the replay. And so just put in the chat and let me know what your takeaways are. We're going to talk about something almost everyone believes is strength, and that's multitasking. They wear it like a badge of honor. But today, I want to gently challenge that idea because multitasking might actually be the very thing that is killing your creativity and your focus and your momentum. We're going to take a look at that. Most of us were taught that doing more at once means that you're being productive, right? So we keep 10 tabs open and check email while we're working and jump from task to task. And it feels busy, but busy is not the same as creative or effective or even productive. Um, all the, answering every notification, switching tasks all day long, it feels like you're getting stuff done, right? But why is it that at the end of the day you're so exhausted? Um, Multitasking, it's not really multitasking. That's Your brain is actually switch tasking. Your brain is rapidly switching between tasks, and every switch costs you energy and clarity and creativity. You're not really doing things at the same time. When I was a teacher, I kept trying to tell kids that they wanted to watch TV or nowadays YouTube and do their homework at the same time. Well, it was taking them twice as long at least to get it done that way because they're not really watching TV and doing homework at the same time. They are looking at their homework and doing a bit of it, and then stopping looking at the homework and looking up at the TV and paying attention to it, and then looking back down at their home. They're switching, and they're doing it, you know, quickly so they don't realize that they're not doing something at the same time. But it's rapid task switching, and that is exhausting to your brain. Um, and look, if you want to be creative, which um, I love creativity, and whether even if you're not an entrepreneur like me, you have probably problems that you need to solve and you need creative solutions. And so creativity needs space, it needs depth. And when your attention is constantly fractured, your ideas they just stay surface level. That's why everything starts to feel harder and less inspired. You stay shallow and you got fewer original ideas, you got more mental fatigue. And so, again, multitasking feels productive because you're busy, you're responding, you're checking things off, you're moving, you're reacting, but none of that guarantees progress on what actually matters. You're just staying busy. And your brain does its best work when it can focus on one thing. Single tasking reduces mental load, and it gives your brain the conditions that it needs to think creatively. So one task at a time is ideal. Um, Clarity and creativity on and reduced cognitive load. That's what we're talking about. And so, creativity thrives when you're in deep focus. That's where creativity lives, in focused, protected time. That's when ideas connect, insights appear, and work feels more satisfying instead of draining. So you want to have times when you're in your flow state. If you have ADHD like me, you're in your hyper focus, uninterrupted, uh, full attention on one thing. And if you have a busy, fast-moving brain like me, or like ADHD brain, multitasking can feel natural. It's just it's our MO. But it actually makes things worse. You have more overwhelm, more frustration, and less follow through. That's why it's hard to not multitask when you have a busy brain. You got so many ideas, so many responsibilities, so many distractions. It's hard to just slow down and do one thing at a time. But that's where the sweet spot is, doing things one thing at a time. So instead of multitasking, I encourage you to start using focus blocks. Um, and that we've talked about this before, and I teach this in my coaching program. But you just want to choose one priority and set a clear time block: 30, 60, 90 minutes, no more than 90 minutes. And remove all distractions just for that window of time. And then take a break. Once that, set a timer when the timer goes off, and don't get up and do anything else. Don't let any interruption derail you. If you think of something else and you're afraid you'll forget it, just what I do is keep it in what I call a parking lot, which is just a bunch of sticky notes that I set to the side, and I jot it down real quick and then I immediately go back to the task at hand. And focus doesn't have to mean hours and hours of grinding. I believe shorter, intentional focus blocks actually work better, and science has backed this up. It helps you avoid burnout, and you want to plan a break. If there's something that you get distracted by, use that as your reward. If you like playing games on your phone or scrolling social media, um, or watching the news, whatever, then use that as your reward during your break time. But shorter is better: 30 to 90 minutes, planned breaks, and sustainable focus. That works better. And just one simple shift. I encourage you: create before you consume. If you can just remember that, if you forget everything else I said, remember, create before you consume. Protect your creative energy before letting the world into your brain. So don't check email first thing in the morning. Don't check social media first thing in the morning. Protect your ideas. Use that deep focus time for your creativity before you start letting in a bunch of other information that is just going to muddle things up and give you noise in your brain. And your brain keeps multitasking when it's trying not to forget things. And so that's why I said, have a parking lot. Write everything down so that your mind can relax. Just dump it out onto paper. Um, because your brain needs to be able to relax and focus on the task in front of you. So clear the mental clutter. If you if you feel like I can't concentrate because I got all this stuff in my head, just get it out of your head. Put it on paper. That way you know it's there. You can look at it later. You don't have to worry about remembering. And park those ideas safely. Momentum is what we're going for. That beats multitasking every time. Momentum is the opposite of multitasking. When you make consistent progress, then your confidence grows and creativity follows. Progress builds confidence. Confidence builds clarity, and clarity fuels creativity. So momentum beats multitasking. That's your goal. And this is not about willpower. Focus is a skill, and a skill is something that you can learn. When you have the right systems and the right support, it becomes so much easier. This is what I train people on in my coaching program all the time. The right systems, the right support, helps you implement the information that you learn. Um, and if you have not heard, I did want to just remind you that I'm doing something new this year, and I have extended an invitation for you to become a founding member of my new program called Momentum by Design. Now, I still have my coaching program where we meet every week on Zoom, and we share wins and goals and accountability and live training and all that stuff. And that's great. I have some specials going on for 2026. If you're interested in that, by all means, let me know that you want more info, and I'll give you the scoop. We'll chat, see if it's a good fit. But if you're not quite ready for weekly Zoom calls, Momentum by Design is kind of a stepping stone before you get to full out coaching. So if you're ready to stop multitasking and start working in a way that actually supports your brain, I invite you to join this new program. I have unbelievable prices uh, for founding members going on just this month. I may extend it to February, but probably not past that. Um, and so people who are joining now, I'm giving some special bonuses. So there's an incentive to go ahead and jump on board, one, before the prices go up, and two, so you can get the bonuses. And it's where you build focus-friendly systems and you create sustainable momentum and design your days with intention. I I will meet with you on Zoom once a month instead of once a week. It's once a month, and you have a training that's dropped to you every month in your portal. You have an optional body doubling implementation session, and you also get an inspiration, encouragement message from me every month, whether that be through audio or email or some other form. So you're getting something every week, but it is less intense and it is a lot less expensive. You can join right now for $67. Um, there's no contract. The better deal is to join for the year because you get 2 free months, and that's $4.97 for the year. And that's going up to $9.97, but right now it's about half the price. So now's the time, and I encourage you to let me know if you are interested. We can meet on Zoom and talk about it, or I could just send you the link. Um, it is really exciting, and the people who are joining are um, are getting to kind of help build this from the ground up. So I hope this has been helpful to you. I hope you can figure out some ways to not multitask so much and build momentum in your life. And I will see you next time. Bye bye.